All right. Good afternoon / evening, everybody. Happy Thursday. Nick Marro here with Smitty, as always, to help you break down tonight's NBA DFS main slates on both DraftKings and FanDuel. A lot of chaos last night. We got just 5 games tonight, so it should be pretty easy to get through. Not too many surprises, knock on wood, we're hoping. Smitty, what's your initial takes on this one? Lots to be frustrated about last night for sure.
Yeah, would like to move on from last night for sure, but today it don't look too bad. Only 5 games, it's kind of nice compared to what we've been having. Seems like there's less news on this slate too.
Yeah, I mean that's the beauty of DFS, especially these daily sports that you and I both play, MLB, NBA. You got one rough day, I mean you could just go to the next, and here we are, getting to chat quickly here, and then we'll get right into the game by game breakdown. We got Ben Jizzy saying good evening, shouts out. R Finch, I don't want to mispronounce your first name there, and then he's saying what's up. Been seeing Heath getting some screenshots in. I love it, man. We get guys who come in here, they catch the YouTube, and they build a rapport, then they get in Discord, and we start to see them win, and nothing better, man. That's why we do it. So let's hope we can carry some of that momentum into tonight. First game on the slate here: Washington Wizards taking on the Detroit Pistons. Widest spread on the board, but a pretty healthy 235-point total. This is the only game that locks at 7 p.m. Certainly worth knowing. But yeah, Washington side of things: no Brogdon, no Koulibaly. That's the most significant piece here. No Sadiq Bey either. They've been playing a little bit better than expected, I'd say, generally speaking. Looking at the model here, really nothing popping in terms of OF index. Highest being Jordan Poole at the 8.0, SAR 7.9. Champagne getting a lot of love over on FanDuel at 4,900. Same price as he is on DK. I think that's more a product of just small forward being kind of a thin position. We're kind of lacking safe, quote unquote, value tonight. So he makes some sense. It scares me, though. The minutes have been inconsistent. But yeah, man, tough team to really feel great about. Usually my take with the Wizards is like I like to play the young guys. If the game doesn't go well, they still tend to get their run. Right now, Kaishan George, probably my favorite play, but at the same time, I'm not sitting here saying anyone should play him. Alexandre Sarr looks pretty good, but with Rashawn Holmes back and Vukcevic actually doing well when he's on the floor, tough to really be confident in his minutes. Jordan Poole definitely has upside. I don't think I go there. There's a lot of good guards on this slate. If anything, for me, it's probably Kaishan. I don't love the Champagne ownership personally. I do think if he starts, he's going to be tough to get away from unless we get better value. But curious, how you handling the Wizards tonight?
Yeah, it's pretty tough to really get to this team. I think Champagne, assuming he starts, I'm willing to get a little bit. We only have him at 9% on DraftKings. Seems kind of low, but on FanDuel, I'd probably be under the field there. Just hasn't really shown a ceiling, especially as of late. So not
Mm-hmm.
someone I really want my night depending on. But I'm into getting to a little bit of SAR, just kind of all fillers to me. I don't even hate a shot on Corey Kispert on DraftKings. He looks pretty good in the model. Someone that I'm trying to get uh, overweight to, especially with a like a 14-point spread.
Yeah, man. Kispert's interesting because it's not like he's super young, but he does seem to get running these blowouts. Obviously, that's what we're looking for in a team like this. And yeah, I mean, pretty much similar upside to Champagne for a little bit cheaper, much lower ownership. I do like that as kind of a tournament pivot. So don't mind that one at all. Would probably take me a few lineups to get there, but can say that for most of the Wizards. Over on the Detroit side, though, obviously some blowout risk here, but definitely a great matchup. Can't deny that. No Jaden Ivey. Other than that, it's only G Leaguers. So this team's getting healthy. I had a few games without Harris. He's back. I don't know. Stewart's been in and out. Fontecchio's been in and out. But yeah, this is pretty much the healthiest they've been. Um, Pistons, really a good team now, a team we actually have to consider blowouts with. But Cade looks great. On a limited slate, whenever you're getting that type of upside, don't really care about how the game plays out. I mean, the ceiling's going to be there for him. For a 5 game slate, even kind of thin at center tonight, I do think Jalen Duren looks really good. Price on DK came up a little bit, probably not as much as it needs to, though. Fine getting Tobias. I'm a huge fan of both Thompson twins. Sar, though, remains too cheap. He's back down around 21 minutes, and I really can't wrap my head around what they're doing. So their coach was like, no more minutes limit. He could play 30. We got 2 games of him back to back playing 30 minutes against Utah and the Clippers. Since then, he hasn't played more than 20. So they lifted the limit only to limit him even more than he was before the limit, if that makes sense. It doesn't to me. I don't mind getting to him, but I can't feel confident in him as a play just knowing that he's likely capped. Schroeder, too. I don't know, man. This guy's been on like 4 teams this season, consistently over 20 fantasy points, which at his price is actually somewhat useful on tonight's slate. Priced similarly as Champagne. I personally would rather go to Schroeder. At the same time, not excited about playing him. Isaiah Stewart's going to get some love here just because he is so cheap, pretty high fantasy point per minute rate. If he plays 20 minutes, he does have a decent shot to get you your 20 fantasy points. Probably gets there regardless of whether this game is close or not. I like Cade. I can't call him a priority. I do think Durant's one of the better centers tonight, but it's actually the bench guys I find myself on the most. Some Schroeder, a little bit of Stewart as well. Not super confident in anything, but can't deny the upside of this matchup. Smitty, how are you going to take care of these Pistons in terms of rostership, etc.?
Yeah, I think some of the value guys make sense to kind of mix in. They should see probably similar to minutes that they get, but they also have one of the best matchups on the slate going against Washington. So their minutes are a little more important now. And then Duran, one of my favorite centers on the slate, one of the best matchups on the slate, still under 7K on DraftKings. FanDuel, it's a little more of a decision, but where you only get one center and he's priced up a little bit more. I still think he's a good play, though. But yeah, interested in Cade and Tobias a little bit. Don't mind getting to Cade at all. I was just actually trying to bump him a little bit because I wasn't getting enough. So I think Cade's a pretty solid play.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Field's not even getting to 20% on a pretty limited slate. Not a ton of great payups. We definitely have a few, but I do think that he's under owned. A name I'm going to shout out. Tell me if you're getting any. Never feels good, but Tim Hardaway Jr. has been taking a ton of threes. Took 6 plus, and I think 6 of his last 8 games. Some falling. He hasn't been terrible. I think his value at low ownership. I don't mind mixing him in. It's gross, but are you getting into any THJ?
I have a few percent right now. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I don't mind mixing him in. I mean, I think he's similar to some of the value that's getting a lot of love, and it's like, I don't know. I don't think those are good plays either, but you just play the ownership game, and we're kind of in that range. So,
Yeah.
with you on that one. Taking a look at chat here. Shouts out Jose, Giannis, or Luca. That's where we're uncertain. I mean, the model's saying Luca. I think I agree. Personally, Smitty, do you have a lean there right now?
Yeah, it's Luca for me.
Yeah, and I think Luca still on the injury report. I imagine he plays though. Shouts out Courtney saying, "Yo yo, Bucks about to put up 100 in the first half against the Lakers." Yeah, when you get Alex Len starting at center, probably not a good thing for your defense. We'll talk about that game next. Thoughts on at least fitting one, Brian? I totally understand it. I mean, if you could fit both, great. But even with some guys real down on the slate, I don't think there's a ton of value. Smitty, I don't know if this is easily accessible for you, but are you getting many lineups of both? And I don't know if you're on both sites tonight. But when I was building earlier, it seemed kind of tough. Like the value is pretty gross right now.
Yeah, I'm only playing DraftKings. I have one lineup with Giannis and Luca, and it's probably disgusting.
Okay, yeah, I'm feeling the same. I mean, if things open up, obviously those are the top 2 raw point plays. What position we spend up on? What do we use value? I mean, that's kind of the beauty of this slate, Jose. There is flexibility because I think you're paying for one of Luca or Giannis. I think the best value plays really are coming from Chicago, and we got them in multiple positions. So we'll talk when we get there. I don't know that there's a set answer. Smitty, did you have a set answer for that? Is there any position you find yourself paying up for more than others? Like, I don't know. I
No,
don't
it really
personally.
just, yeah, I think it just depends on the slate.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it seems like guard a good position where you should use volume. Yeah, I think again some of the safer chalk is at guard. We'll talk about that game in a bit. Before we do get to my Nets in the Bulls, though, let's talk about the Lakers and the Bucks here. The 2 pay-ups everyone's asking about: Luca taking on Giannis. Luca listed as questionable. I'd be pretty shocked if he doesn't go here, though. But the Lakers are without a lot of their front court. No Rui, no Hayes, no LeBron, no Maxi Kleber, who hasn't even played many minutes for the Lakers yet. But not that we're rostering him much anyway. Luca looks great. great. He's going to be popular here. The Bucks, as good as they are, not great against guards defensively. This is the type of matchup he should do well in. He's seeing additional usage with LeBron off the floor, just checking all the boxes. I mean, the only thing maybe giving you any pause at all is just the ownership, but even so, I think you could get different elsewhere. I really, really do like Luka here. Austin Reeves, another guy getting a ton of love. Probably going to run the point next to Luka. I mean, these guys pretty much play the same position. I think Luka's going to be doing more of the ball handling, which means Reeves comes off the ball. So pre-trade, when we got one of the stars ruled out, I think the boost was a bit bigger for Reeves than it is now. At the same time, sub 8K on both sides, especially on DK, is pretty logical play. I'm not probably going to get to that ownership though. Like I said, I think people are a little bit over adjusting, and he's probably going to go for 50 tonight because I say this. But the boost for him was bigger before they had Luke on the team. I don't think that should be too surprising to anyone. Dalton Connect projected to start at the 3. He looks fine, scoring dependent, boomer bust. Yeah, man, then it gets kind of weird. Finney Smith, talented player, more of a defender, no interest in him. Alex Len projected as the starter at center. I don't know. I could talk through all these value plays. I don't really want to, though. So I'll throw it over to you. Start with Alex Len, and then let me know how you're handling these Lakers.
Yeah, I'm not currently getting to Alex Lynn. I think he's playable on a 5 game slate. I wouldn't hate it, but yeah, Luca and Reeves both look really good. Definitely prefer Luca, but in lineups that I don't have Luca, I want to play Reeves. I think it just makes a lot of sense game theory wise.
Yep.
Don't mind playing them together, but I think if you don't have Luca, playing Reeves is pretty smart. And then Jordan Goodwin is one of the value pieces I'm getting to a
Mhm.
little bit. I think he's pretty good. They kind of just need offense, and he's one of the few on the
Yep.
team that can create his own shot. So I think Goodwin's pretty good. Don't really love any of the other ones. Like they're playable, but just not really anyone else I like.
Yeah, I mean, when I first looked at the ownership, I was a little bit surprised, but I mean, Goodwin's point per minute rate has been really, really solid. I think he's getting a lot of those minutes when Luke is not on the floor, which obviously helps his upside tremendously. Not that Luke is off the floor much, but definitely boost that point per minute rate when he is out there. And yeah, none of the value feels entirely safe, but if we're going to get 22 plus minutes from Goodwin, I do like him here. Definitely feel better about him than I do, say, Gabe Vincent, DFS. Any love for Jared Vanderbilt? I think there is a world where he plays more minutes than Len. I think we even have him projected as such. Len probably going to get the start, but I think we see a lot of Vandy at the 5 tonight. Any thoughts on him?
Yeah, I have a couple percent right now. I'm fine with it. I'm not gonna take him out of my pool or bump him or anything, but I think he's
Mhm.
fine in whatever he shows up in.
I'm with you, man. Yeah, sounds like we're pretty aligned on this side. Definitely love Luca, but who doesn't? Not exactly a hot take. In lineups without him, Reeves does make plenty of sense. So the guards do look good there. There, I can't talk. On the Milwaukee side of things, we have Giannis is probable, Dame is probable, Chris Livingston is questionable. Not that that matters at all. Bobby Portis, shamefully PED user, is still suspended. Giannis looks great. Obviously, not quite as good as Luca, but at the same time, this Lakers front court is somewhat decimated right now. This is not the difficult matchup that it had been for much of the season, not only with AD, but even Jackson Hayes had been playing really good defense. So you're going to take a look at this matchup. It's not as bad as maybe some of the statistics would kind of present it, and I think he looks fine. Dame getting some love, obviously, with a lot of people going to Luca. Kind of tough to get to him. Brolo, I always mix in. He's always unowned. Definitely has upside. I'm fine with him in this matchup again. Definitely a good matchup for bigs. Yeah, man. I think I like Giannis a lot. I think Brolo follows him for me. Not getting to a ton of Dame or Kuzma. Would rather play Dame than Kuzma, certainly. And then Torian Prince probably starts at the 2 again. We're talking about a lot of gross value. Throw him in that mix as well. Under-owned, in my opinion, considering what his upside could be. Made 4 threes last game. Took 8, which is what's more important to me. But really like Giannis here. Then it's probably a little bit of Brolo, Prince. Not much else for Milwaukee, but obviously this is a pretty good game environment. How are you going to handle the Bucks?
Yeah, I'm actually really similar. I think Giannis is good. It's hard for me to get to him because I'm playing a ton of Luca, but I still think he's a good play. Dame, the alternative, looks pretty solid as well. I'll probably be around the field there. Kuzma's fine if you get there, but I prefer going to Brooke Lopez. I think he looks pretty solid. He's going against Alex Lynn, which should be pretty good. And then uh, Torian Prince, you mentioned him. He's someone I want to be over the field on. There's a lot of like sketchy value on the slate people are going to, but you know the minutes will be there for Prince. He's going to shoot. You just need him to grab a few more rebounds than normal and make his shots. And he's pretty much there. So I think Prince is actually a pretty solid play.
Nice, man. Happy to hear you're aligned with me on that. And yeah, it's the exact same sentiment. It's like all these plays that are similar to him that are playing less minutes have similar upside. Like, why aren't we playing him? So I really, really do like that call as a value piece. Maybe he ends up in our dummy build at the end of the show. Let's take a quick look at chat here. Jim shouting out Vanderbilt. Yeah, I think he gets more minutes than Len. At the same time, not a great point per minute producer historically. Mr. Torian here. Um, no relation to Torian Prince, I imagine, but Luca Cam Thomas or Cade Franz. That's definitely Luca Cam for me. Everyone knows I am a very biased Cam Thomas fan, though. Smitty, is it the same for you? I think getting Luke is worth prioritizing that pair.
Yeah, it's the same for me too.
Yeah, and Cam's been shooting well. Good matchup. I like to see the 10.3 OF index for him as well. So definitely comfortable making that call. If you play Alex Len, your lineup better have Luka, Giannis, Cade, Steph, Zion, and Lillard. Shouts out to Power. Tend to agree. I would rather just not play any Alex Len. But yeah, let's get into that Nets game here. We got Brooklyn taking on Chicago in Chicago, 229.5 point total. On the Nets side of things, D'Anthony Melton, Tosan, and Noah Clowney are all out. Still no Dariq Whitehead, who has famously said he'd rather be down in the G League getting minutes than riding the bench with the pros, which is hilarious, but whatever. Cam Thomas looks good, man. Obviously, he can be scoring dependent at times. He does go cold. He has been passing the ball a little bit more, obviously. Under Jordy Fernandez, it's kind of been a big thing for them this year is to get him to play more like a true point guard. Few assists per game now definitely helps boost his floor a little bit. The minutes have crept up as well. They kind of eased him back into action. 21 minutes, 25 minutes. He did finally get over 30 last game out against Cleveland. His price hasn't come up as much as it probably should. This is a much better matchup than they've been seeing as well. So all the Nets are a little risky because they're kind of tanking. It seems any nights a player could just get benched for the fourth, even if they're playing well. We've seen this happen to D'Lo. We've seen it happen to Cam Joe. Could happen to Cam Thomas here. But other than that, I think on paper he looks really strong. I'm fine getting the Claxton, Cam Johnson, and then D'Lo himself looks really good, especially on DK. I like all four of these guys mostly because of the matchup, but I really do want to drive home the point that their minutes are not entirely safe. So in cash games, I would maybe play the Cams. At the same time, like don't be shocked if they just get sad for no reason. This is a team that's tanking and they win more games than they should. So it's weird right now. Like Cooper Flag went down today. I hope he gets well soon. But yeah, man, how are you handling the Nets? I'm admittedly biased. I don't want to spend too much time talking about them like I always do.
Yeah, like you said, their minutes are kind of up in the air, but if you can assume the minutes are correct here, I think Claxton's a pretty solid center play, probably going overlooked here. And
Mhm.
then Cam Thomas and Russell are my next two favorites. I think both of them are pretty solid plays. Other than that, kind of just tournament plays, getting to a little bit of Cam Johnson, um, a little bit of Dayron Sharp. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I know last game, I think it was Zaire had a really good game, but he's back to the bench now. So maybe proceed with caution on that. Really just the starters here. Keon Johnson, fine is like the last piece in. I don't really like him though. I'd rather play Torian Prince, who we just talked about for a little bit cheaper, but fine with the cams, fine with Clax. D'Lo looks good, especially on DK. Over on the Bulls side of things, though, one of the more banged up teams on this slate in terms of injuries. Lonzo Ball, doubtful. He's not going to play. AO is out. Josh Giddey, doubtful as well. So they're very thin in the backcourt. What that does is it propels Trey Jones to being one of the best value plays on the entire slate. Kobe White, price in the 7K range, actually looks excellent here as well. They did just get Vooch back, but he's playing limited minutes. I've heard no word about that cap being lifted. He actually came off the bench last time out. So I really have no interest in either center here just because the minutes are going to be all over the place. But Jones looks excellent. One of the better pieces of chalk, in my opinion. I'm surprised White isn't even more popular. I like him a lot. Kevin Herter, while he is scoring dependent, way too cheap for his role. We have him for 32 minutes. He's been taking a ton of shots. And this is a pretty good matchup for them as well here against the Nets. I'll throw Bazelis' name out there, not to list the entire team. I rank him behind those other three. But yeah, man, I love Jones. I like White. I think Herter looks good here as well. How are you going to handle Chicago?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I think Herter looks really good along with Trey Jones. And then at the mid range, I think Kobe White's one of the better plays, especially he has shooting guard small forward eligibility, which is
Yeah.
pretty huge on DraftKings. FanDuel point guard shooting guard still not bad, but on DraftKings he looks really good. And then Matas 4,800 on DraftKings, probably a little bit too cheap. not someone I want my night depending on at all. But I want to prioritize Herder, Trey Jones, and Kobe White.
Nice, man. Happy to be aligned with you. I mean, you've been pretty hot lately, so that's music to my ears. Quick look at chat here. I don't think we've got much in since the last time. Amari shouts out saying Torian's been streaky. Yeah, I mean, also value of the day. Yeah, he's hot right now, man. You catch him when he's hot. Hopefully, he keeps it going for at least one more slate. Next game here, one of the lower totals on the board. We got the Orlando Magic taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. This game also locking at 8 p.m. Eastern. On the Orlando side of things, Jalen Suggs still out, still no Mo Wagner. Mac McClung, dunk champ, is on the injury report. Shouts out to him for making me a lot of money at minus 140, one of the more ridiculous odds we'll see all season. But yeah, man, enough about that. We got Paulo and Franz looking really solid here. Paulo, I think, is the higher ceiling. You're getting Franz for a bit of a discount. On FanDuel, Franz the more popular play, 500 cheaper, not surprising. I do much prefer Paulo of the two if I could find the salary for him, but at the same time, easily make a case for either. Wendell Carter's been brutal to me the past few weeks. I think he has as much upside as any sub 5K play on the slate on DraftKings, but at the same time, the minutes have been all over the place. I do think I'm going to play him tonight. I like him a lot. On paper, he looks good. The field is getting there. On FanDuel, even a little bit more expensive using up that center spot. Not the best slate for center, so I'm fine getting to him there as well. But I will say, in my dummy builds, like I'm most afraid of him. I think he could burn us very easily. He gets in foul trouble a lot. Sometimes doesn't play the fourth for various reasons. So proceed with caution on that one. But yeah, man, gotta love Paulo here. I think the Cole Anthony ownership's a little bit surprising. He's just been pretty inconsistent. Ceiling's there. Floor has been really, really low for him. But yeah, love Paulo. Don't mind mixing in Anthony and or Carter, Franz if you can't afford Paulo. How are you going to handle the Magic?
Yeah, I think Paolo and Franz both look pretty good. Currently getting to more Franz on DraftKings, just his price makes it a little easier, and he has small forward eligibility. But I think
Yeah.
they're both good. Like you said, I'd rather play Paolo, but currently just not getting as much of him. And then Wendell Carter, I'm underweight to the field. I still think he's a pretty decent option. There's just other centers that I'm playing over him, but I'm still fine getting there. Cole Anthony, getting to quite a bit of him. I'm fine with it. The minutes have been okay. They just need scoring, and that's really all he can do. So uh, I don't mind getting there as well.
Yeah, I mean, on a limited slate like this, he's kind of a necessary evil if you're playing multiple lineups. But yeah, in cash games, like Trey Jones is the guy for me, obviously, at the same price. I know you need multiple point guards, but upside's there for Cole Anthony. He could definitely outplay Jones here, wouldn't surprise anyone. Over on the Pelican side of things, another team missing a few key pieces. Brandon Boston's going to be out. No Herb Jones still. Eves Missy, DeJounte Murray, and Kelly Olynyk are all out as well. So I think last time the Pelicans were on the slate, we thought Makovich would get the start. I don't think he did. He's projected to start, as is Bruce Brown here, which means Alvarado and Hawkins are going to come off the bench. Zion available, playing 30 minutes, looks fine. Trey Murphy, CJ McCollum, fine. I think the most appealing part of them tonight is the low ownership. I know the matchup's terrible, but if this is a competitive game, it wouldn't surprise me at all to see one of these guys go off. I don't know that I want more than one in a lineup, Zion, McCollum, Trey, but I do think they're worth mixing in. Then Makovich, I mean, if he starts at center, he's going to be total chalk. Only played 20 minutes against the Clippers off the bench, and he still got there. So I don't know, man. I think he's a little bit over-owned if he's off the bench, but kind of having trouble projecting a starting lineup that he's not in tonight. I like him. I'm fine with it. And Bruce Brown, feel the same way. If he starts, I trust him. Off the bench, I don't. That's kind of been the thing for everyone on the Pels except for Alvarado, who actually do prefer playing off the bench. I'm going to be mixing him in a lot tonight. I know a lot of people are getting to Cole Anthony in this game. To me, I would rather play Alvarado personally. I don't think he scores as well in the model, but I think he has similar upside. So yeah, tournament play for me here, definitely Alvarado. Don't expect him to start. Fine with Makovich and Brown as value, assuming they do. And then I like one of the three, McCollum, Murphy, Williamson. Favor Williamson to that group, but I wouldn't want more than one in the lineup against this defense. Pelicans kind of a weird one, Smitty. How are you going to handle them? And do you think Makovich and Brown are starting again?
Yeah, it is a weird one. I'm assuming Makovich is starting. That's how I'm building. I'll have plenty of exposure to be able to swap, but assuming he starts, I think he's a really good value. I like him. Even coming off the bench, he's probably in play, but probably comes in over owned again and then smashes. But I think Bruce Brown is a decent play. He looks okay. not the best fantasy producer, but still think he's playable. And then Trey Murphy, Zion, I think they're fine to fill in. Just GPP plays. One other guy I have interest in is Mo Bamba. They need someone to fill center minutes, so I'm pretty interested in getting to a little bit of Mo Bamba min price on DraftKings. He does take up your center spot, but I'm still fine getting there. Not someone I want to go crazy on, but I'd like to be overweight.
Yeah, and if this game were in Orlando, you could probably sing the revenge narrative there as well. Not
Yeah.
a crazy play on a limited slate. Not someone I'm excited to get to. I do want to ask you though: Are you getting to any Alvarado? I feel like I'm alone on an island with this one.
I have 2% right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think he's just as good as like Cole Anthony in terms of upside. Maybe that's insane to say, but I'm fine mixing him in. But yeah, I'll live on that one or die on that one. It is what it is. Moving into the last game on the slate, we are ripping through today. Definitely, guys. If you got any questions, any players we didn't talk about, any strategy as well, a few extra minutes today, so feel free to get those in. First, let's go into this late game here. We got the Kings taking on the Warriors. This is a 10 o'clock game, so there's a 2 hour break. So if you're waiting on news here, I don't think we are very much, which is just a good thing. Just make sure you have a plan. 2v2s, like you want to have two players. Kind of if you're building here, if someone's ruled out, so you have some maneuverability. Obviously, put these guys in the utility. There is one big piece of news we're waiting on, about to talk about. Domantas Sabonis still questionable. Obviously, if he's out, Jonas Valanciunas is going to be a thing again. If he's in, Valanciunas is going to be very tough to get to. Trey Lyles questionable as well. Jake LaRavia is available. Not that he's super significant. Has been getting a few minutes here or there. They had a few games without Monk this week. He's back. I mean, DeRozan, fine. Keegan Murray, a little bit too cheap. Zach Levine, okay. But with Monk coming back, these guys do feel a little bit overpriced. If Sabonis comes back, they feel even more overpriced. I'm hoping Sabonis is out so I can play some Joval. I don't know if anyone in chat or if you, Smitty, have a good read on that. I think they were trending towards him going tonight, but he's missed 5 in a row, so I'm not super confident in that. Kings, tough team to get to if they're in available. I do like Joval a lot, though, if Sabonis sits. But, Smitty, you got to lean on that center situation there in Sacramento, and how are you handling the rest of these guys?
Yeah, I kind of think Sabonis plays, but it's just a lean, really. But assuming he plays or don't play, this team's still just kind of tough to get to. Like you said, I'd like Joval. That's pretty much it. I think Keegan Murray's fine, and then Malik Monk is someone that I don't mind getting to at low ownership on DraftKings. But it's tough to prioritize anyone here.
Yeah, like I like Levine and DeRozan. It's just it feels like their prices came up for those games without Sabonis and without Monk. So you're paying a premium to get different. Sometimes that works out on these smaller slates, but we can't sit here and call them priorities. Over on the Golden State side of things, Kuminga's back. He's probable, but no pods in. No pods. I'm not going to mispronounce his name. So they kind of offset in a weird way. Gary Payton is also available. Jimmy Butler seems to be getting a lot of love here. A bit surprised by his value score, over 15 on both sites. Fine getting there. I do think Kaminga coming back could cut into him a little bit. Obviously, Jimmy's the guy going to get the start, but yeah, a lot of his success has come without Kaminga. Draymond, probably my favorite Kings play tonight, and I don't feel great about saying that. I just think the center's pretty. Slate is pretty thin at center. He's been one of the more consistent options, especially in terms of minutes. But yeah, I always like low on Steph. He's got upside. No one's really getting there. But yeah, it's mostly Draymond for me, a little bit of Jimmy. But yeah, the Kaminga thing does give me some pause, but I would like to get exposure here. It's just tough to really plant my flag in any one play. So I'll do it on Draymond on a slate where I think center's kind of thin. How about you, Smitty? How you doing the Warriors here?
Yeah, I'm pretty similar. Pretty tough team to get to. This game's kind of tough to get to in general, but I feel like we should be playing them because the total's pretty good. Not a real large spread.
Mhm.
Jimmy stands out in the model, so I'm trying to. I keep bumping him and still struggling to get as much as the field, but someone I want to be slightly overweight too. But like you said, Kaminga coming back probably not good for him, but
Yeah.
I still think he's a pretty solid play. And then Draymond's my second highest exposed from here. I'm fine with that. Gary Payton, he's whatever, I guess. Don't mind mixing him in or Quentin Post. Not great centers on this slate. I don't hate taking some GPP shots on Quentin Post.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy, man. And I'll throw Moody's name in with that group of kind of iffy, lower price plays for Golden State. He's been playing really well. Maybe he slides out of the starting lineup with Kuminga back, but we'll have to wait and see. Personally, I think they want Kuminga running the second unit. And again, Pods is out. So Moody and Peyton do look better than usual with you on all that. And yeah, Jimmy, I mean, the model loves him here. It's kind of crazy. Looking at like overall OF index, where is he? Fourth on the slate, ahead of guys like Curry, Lillard, Xylon, Paulo. That's crazy to me. I don't know if that holds, but it is telling me to get more of him in my life. And I was struggling to kind of find some late night action here. If I don't want to play a ton of Draymond, it's probably going to be Jimmy. Um, but all right, let's get to chat here. Yeah, we'll talk through some value. Talking about Torian. Thoughts on Kai George for DraftKings single entry? Jim, I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you got the beginning. He's probably my favorite wizard because he's kind of that hybrid of if the game's close, he's getting a ton of minutes. If it's a blowout, he's still getting a ton of minutes. He's still the starter here. Bub Carrington's moved to the bench. Yeah, I'm fine getting to Kaishan. Again, probably my favorite wizard. I don't like any of the wizards, so take that with a grain of salt. Smitty, what's your exposures on Kaishan George right now, if you have any?
Let's see. I have 6% right now.
Okay, and I actually think you're over the field, yeah. So
Yeah.
pretty easy to get to, and if you're sorting by minutes, he's projecting for the most minutes on this team. Again, sometimes that's what matters. So fine with that. Makovich starting. Jose, we don't know yet. I do expect him to, but we're gonna have to wait and see on that. I have not seen starting lineup yet. Yeah, is Jones for the Bulls value of the day type? Shit. Let's start by value here. And yeah, he is, man. 16.0 over on FanDuel, 16.9 over on DK. I say the same things on these streams. We do them every day. But even dating back to last year when he was on the Spurs, and they were trying to play Sochan at point guard, I was pretty adamant about them getting Jones in there. He is a talented point guard. He sees the floor well. Some of these value plays come up. They get the opportunities, and they're not good players. We see it all the time. But to me, Trey Jones is actually a guy with some talent. I like him getting increased opportunity. So good chalk to me, Smitty. Are you going to be over the 33% on DK?
Yeah, I'll be over. Currently have 43%, and I'm fine with that, but I honestly wouldn't mind getting to a little bit more.
Nice, man. I'm with you. I really like him. Can you play Wagner and Bonchero? You could. Do I want to? Not necessarily. Smitty, what are your thoughts on that one? It's not a bad matchup. 5 game slate. I kind of try to throw most rules out the window, though.
Yeah, I didn't make a rule for it. Normally I do on bigger slates, but I would prefer it not happening, but if it does, it's whatever.
Yeah, a bigger
In
slate
a
I wouldn't
single,
hose.
yeah, like a single lineup, I wouldn't hand build that. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it does make a difference, that's for sure. I can't trust Cole Anthony at all. Yeah, man. I mean, the thing with him is he gets you 40 fantasy points. It also gets you 14. But if he's popular, that's usually when I'm more comfortable fading. Dame or Kobe. Kobe has more upside. I mean, bigger discount for Kobe White, right? And I actually think Kobe White rates better in terms of upside OF index in the model. So that kind of tells you all you need to know. Kobe White for me for sure. Smitty, how about you?
Yeah, Kobe. He really stands out today.
Yeah, man, totally agree. Only reason to pivot would be the ownership. Unicorn saying better late than never. Definitely appreciate you getting here, man. Let's see. Jose hoping they start Mobamba. Man, if they do, he's going to
I'd
be
be cool with
popular,
it.
and I'm going to be terrified. If Mobamba starts Smitty and say he projects to be 30% owned, are you coming in over that?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, yeah. Cue the Sheck West song and just load him up. I guess it is what it is. And phony, excellent pun from Power here. Like the greatest puns. This is a good one. Another good one. Power back to back, hitting a hot streak. Rather play La Bamba than Mo Bamba. Uh, that's good, man. Question is: it's a one center day or two? Personally, usually we say two. Today, for me, it might be one. I think you could go either way. I don't think center is as deep as usual compared to some of the other positions. Smitty, you finding most of your lineups are double center or not so much today?
I'm kind of mixed. Just a little bit of everything.
Yeah. And Luca out, Buck 4Ks was. And Luca out. I'm not sure what you mean by that one, man. Luca's not out, is he? That really ruined
I
this
hope not.
whole. Let's see here. LeBron day to day, Rui day to day. Catching up on news right here.
No,
I don't
I don't
see
think so.
anything. Yeah, of course we're getting all the Friday news jammed in here. We still have to scroll and scroll and scroll. Okay, so if Luka's in, Luka's the guy for me, followed by Giannis, then Cade in that order. Are you similar, Smitty? Luka first, then Giannis, then Cade. Pretty much aligned with the model today.
Yeah, that's where I'd be.
And yeah, Beantown Len could get some extra run. He's just bad at basketball, though. I think they want defense with like size matters, but not as much as strength. In my opinion, I think they're getting more of that from Jameson and Vanderbilt. Personally, Finney Smith has even played the five at times. Len will get extra run today. Personally, I don't like it. Smitty, how much Len were you getting?
I have 0.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Power. When Smitty says yeah, he means you're going to lose. If Bowman starts, it's a log for me. Um, Good question here, Tom. Favorite center on FanDuel? Taking a look at the model. I mean, Sabonis scores the best, but coming back from an injury, not loving that one. Um, I think Duren would probably be the guy in cash games. I will say my favorite it might be Brolo in tournaments. In large field tournaments, it's Lopez. I think to be safe, you go Draymond or Duren. But on FanDuel, Smitty, who would your favorite center be?
Brooke was my first thought too.
Nice, love it. Sub 10% too. Can't go wrong with that. Hopefully, he just has another solid game. I think that's it, guys. Let's get to a quick dummy build here. Smitty is on double duty today. Going to be in the Discord for a half hour leading up until lock. As always, check the links in the description below. Get access, very cheap. Also, get access to the model, lineup builder, plugs for all the other sports. Smitty, where are we starting today? I think Trey Jones is kind of the no brainer, right?
Yeah, I think Trey Jones, Kevin Herter.
You know, throw Kobe White too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do. And we got that forward eligibility, so you could use all three of these spots. Okay.
running
You
back with
know,
Cam Thomas.
love it. You know, I'm not going to argue with that. Kill a cam, walking bucket. Power forward, assuming he starts, we going Makovich.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty clear. All right. I think I want to jam Luca if we can.
yeah, definitely.
Let's see where that takes us. Okay, we got 5,400 center and forward. I mean, we're both on Lopez. If you guys are playing cash, maybe don't tail us, but I think that's where we go, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think in cash you probably want like Duran or
Yeah, the
something
Duran
like that.
DK price is a little bit off, and then we're left with 5,400 for a forward. This is almost too easy to build, and now we know
Yeah,
why. We're stuck with we either get Malik Beasley, Keegan Murray, probably Murray for me. You get a little late night hammer there too, something to sweat into the hours. But anything in this range, you really jumping out at the page to use, Smitty? I think it's probably Murray just by default.
yeah. Probably Murray or Moody for me.
I'm with it. I'm with it. Yeah, Don Dilo definitely too cheap on DK. You get him in there. Kaishan, yeah, is he the same price? Wouldn't mind that. I just don't like leaving a ton of salary on the table personally, but a 5 game slate, you could definitely leave a little bit more. But yeah, pretty good options there. We like the rest of the lineup. Maybe something changes with these starting lineups. Again, if Makovich comes off the bench, still like him, but he'd be pretty risky. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, guys, always happy to give Smitty a few minutes back. And yeah, fun slate tonight. We're going to keep grinding. Things have been getting weird. I know Chuck in the Discord today actually said he's going to lower his volume a bit. I know Smitty and I are starting to get geared up for MLB. There's still money to be had on the table, though. Just make sure you're paying close attention to these things. You never know what's going to happen as teams are tanking and resting for the playoffs. Smitty, any last thoughts before we get out of here?
Nope. Yeah, I agree with that too. I'm basically just going to be playing one site for now, and see how it goes.
Yeah, man. Hey, money's there. You gotta want it though, and at the same time, if you don't have a high risk tolerance, don't just keep burning it if things haven't been going your way. But one more here from Jim on our way out the door. I know this is crazy. I have 100 lineups done, 57 players in them for DraftKings. That sounds like too many to me, but I'm not a max entry player, Smitty. Um, what are your thoughts on that? Any thoughts?
Uh, no, I think it's fine. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm wondering like what the 57th ranked player looks like.
That's a few more than me. In my 100 lineups, I have 47, but you could go either way.
Yeah, Jim, I'd say like if you have a lot of single digit guy, I mean you're probably fine. Just it depends on the slate. To me, that's a high number, but again, I haven't been playing MME as much as I used to, so take it with a grain of salt. If there's no one in there that you're really hating, then let it ride, man. Hopefully it works out. But once again, thank you, everyone. Definitely appreciate you tuning in. On the way out, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, hop in that Discord. We'll talk to you soon. Good luck.